Pursuant to Internal Revenue Service guidance, be advised that any federal tax advice contained in this program is not intended to be used, and it cannot be used by any person or entity for the purpose of avoiding any tax penalties that may be imposed by the Internal Revenue Service or any other U.S. federal taxing authority or agency, or promoting, marketing, or recommending to another party any transaction or matter addressed in this show. The opinions expressed by the host and the guests are their own and may not be used as authoritative advice. Any use of this material without the written consent of the host is strictly prohibited.
Welcome back. I am your host, Attorney Stephen Leahy, and this is the IRS Radio Hour on AM 560, The Answer. So welcome back. Jim's feeling much better now. He's got a forum to explode on.
It is like a weight is lifted off my shoulders.
That's good. That's what the show's all about, Jimmy.
I had to go get some water, wash my face, cold water over my face. Oh.
But this is our segment we talk about. What do we do in this segment, Jim?
This is the blog segment that my Uncle Steve here, he writes a blog weekly, and we're going to talk about it a little bit. Right.
So this week I wrote an article, and it's kind of going with the articles I've been writing since.
Articles of the Confederation? No. I felt that needs to go with.
I saw that. I got the connection there.
For our listeners, I don't know.
I got that. But it isn't. This is an article I wrote, and it's been going on kind of a theme about tax preparation. Beginning of the year, lots of a lot of people worried about tax preparation. I know I'm worried about it.
No, I am.
So because the Opem Tax Resolution and the law office of Stephen A. Leahy, PC, they prepare taxes. So if you're looking for a preparer, you should give them a call, 312-664-6649. But this week, I wrote an article about the three scams. The big three, because there's lots of scams going out there. But the big three scams about tax preparers. And, the first one, and I just had someone come in my office this last week, and they were having problems because they hired a tax preparer that all of their friends told them, hey, you got to go see this tax preparer. This tax preparer saves. We get the biggest refund back. It's just great. You got to hire this person. So
that sounds like a plus.
You want everybody wants a good refund. So I think this person usually got about $2,000 or $2,500 back, and they went to this tax preparer, and they promised them a larger return a refund, I should say, and the refund was over $10,000.
Whoa!
So this client that came in was very happy because
I would be,
because he got $10,000, and then he said, well, why don't you redo my 2012 return too? Because I should have got more money back in 2012.
Makes sense.
So he paid this person, and first off, for the 2013, this person took a percentage of whatever refund there was. Ding, 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 ding. Problem.
There's bells going off. Bells and whistles.
There's a problem here. First off, that's not ethical to take a percentage of the refund. And if somebody's asking you if some tax preparer wants to get paid that way, don't go there. But anyway, so he did the 2012 returns for them, and he got a letter back from the IRS without a refund.
You don't say.
It was a tax examination. Well, we call that an audit in America, but IRS calls it a tax examination. And so he's being examined for 2012 and will be examined again for 2013. So then he took a look at his tax return, because remember, now he says that he never signed anything. Usually they're going to have you sign it. A lot of times if your tax preparer, first off, if they ask you to sign a blank tax return, never do that.
Okay, I'm writing it down.
That's right. Secondly, if they won't sign it themselves, then never send it in.
That should be a red flag.
Because they're saying they're not taking responsibility for it. And remember, whenever you send in a tax return, you are signing this under penalty of perjury. So no matter what they said, you're attesting to the truthfulness of it. So when he went back and looked at his tax return for 2013, he had a lot of Schedule A deductions or expenses. So Schedule A is where you put
not
like
Schedule B, though.
Employee. No, not Schedule B.
Okay.
So then there's Schedule C, where you put your business expenses. Schedule A is where you put your employee unreimbursed expenses.
Oh.
So maybe if you have uniforms, sometimes you can do some meals and things like this that you can deduct. And he didn't have any of these deductions, yet they appeared on his tax return. So so when he reviewed it, he said, "Well, this is all false, and that's fraud." Okay, so what will happen is the IRS will find out that this tax preparer was preparing these tax, and then they'll go back and audit everybody they've ever done a tax return for.
Oh.
And I've had groups of people come in. Well, we're all being audited. How did that happen? You all used the same tax preparer, didn't you? You all got a lot of tax refunds, didn't you? Well, guess what? You got to pay it all back.
So, ladies and gentlemen, beware. Now, Absolutely. Uncle Steve, I know you were talking about that. There's 3, tax preparer scams. That's number one. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't be careful. What's the second one? The second one.
This one's more of a scam than that. That one's just fraud. The second one's more of a scam, and I've had people come in and they've bought into the scam and the scam begins by telling you that there is a secret account. First, the United States government went broke in 1933, and part of when they went broke, they had to all of us as citizens became chattel for the creditors. And in return, we all have these birth certificates, and so all of your debt is kept by the Treasury Department in a secret account. And all you have to do is fill out this form and ask for that money, and the IRS will send it to you.
Parsley green is people.
That's right, Soylent Green.
I'm 24. I never saw a movie.
Okay. But so and the problem with this scam is, and I've had people come in my office who was refunded hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it's not 10,000 or 5,000. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars because they used their mortgage. I have a mortgage of $250,000. I have some credit card debt. I have the car loan. All of those loans I put down here, and the government will give me that money back to pay my loans. Okay, so they fill it in. They get the $300,000 back. And that kind of lends credence to the story. This must be true. The IRS wouldn't have sent me $300,000 if it wasn't true. But that's just because it's automated. And then they tell their friends and family, and their friends and family all do it. And now the IRS comes looking for their money that you fraudulently took from the IRS.
No.
And that's a crime. And they're going to ask for all the money back, and you're going to have to give it back to them, and you won't have it because you have spent it. Okay,
so we're finishing up number 2
That's
here.
number 2. That's right.
What would the third one? Would it be like, not filling out your taxes at all? Because, again, I'm 24 years old. I don't really know.
Well, that's not a tax preparer scam. That's
just me forgetting.
Okay. And I have a lot of clients, unfiled tax returns, who don't do this for a long time.
Can I just sleep through tax season and not focus on it?
And that's what happens with a lot of people. And next year you'll focus on it when the IRS starts coming after you. Because they want. Now, if you have money coming back from the IRS, they probably don't care. Right, because they don't want you to do your return, because then they won't give you your refund. Right, they'll keep your refund, and they won't do it. What we in the show we talk a lot about the substitute for returns, and that's when the IRS does your return.
That's not number 3, is it?
Number 3 is is identification theft.
Okay.
So there's 2 types of identification theft when it comes to tax preparer fraud. One is they take your ID and they prepare your tax return for you fraudulently, and then they get a big refund in your name. And then the IRS starts coming after you for this return that was fraudulent, and you had nothing to do with it.
So there's another Jim Leahy walking around like me?
That's right. And he got your money. And actually, he didn't get your money. He got money from the IRS, and the IRS is going to ask you to pay it back. So then this causes a lot of problems.
They can have my Xbox.
Now, this is the number one problem for the IRS. That they've tagged this year as their number one problem is tax identity theft. And the second type of tax identity theft for tax preparers, right, because I go to a tax preparer, they promised me a good large refund, and I give them my Social Security number, my address, my license number often, because they're going to take a picture of my ID, and my telephone number, my social. So they have all my information, all my personal information.
My gosh!
And so they could turn around and
they don't draw blood, do they?
They might draw if they will help them get money. That's good. But what happens is then they use all that personal information against you, and they get credit cards in your name, and then they run up these credit cards. So this is the identity theft that we hear a lot about. So when you go to a tax preparer that is not reputable, they're going to take advantage of this personal information. It's very valuable. And if they don't do it themselves, they sell it on the black market. And they have a whole list of these. And so you'll never be able to track it to this person. You'll never know it was your tax preparer who did it. But that's because you're using an unreliable person to prepare your tax return. So always use reliable people, like the folks at Opem Tax Resolution.
Exactly. And what number?
At 312-664-6649. You can visit them on the web at chicagotaxteam.com. And now we're going to talk about the Facebook. It's /IRS Radio Hour. And the Twitter handle is Opem Tax. Opem Tax.
Opem Tax.
So again, if you need tax preparation, give them a call. They will be happy to prepare your taxes this year.